So this is for Psalms 23 for the workplace. Psalm 23 for the workplace. The Lord is my boss, and I shall not want. He gives me peace when chaos is all around me. He reminds me to pray before I speak in anger. He restores my sanity. He guides my decisions that I might honor him in all I do. Even though I face absurd amounts of email, system failures, copier jams, backorder supplies, unrealistic deadlines, staff shortages, budget cutbacks, red tape, downsizing, gossiping coworkers, and whining customers, I won't give up. For you are with me. God is always with you, YouTube. Your presence, peace, and power will see me through. You raise me up even when the boss fails to promote me. You claim me as your own even when the company threatens to let me go. Your loyalty and love are better than a bonus check, and your retirement plan beats any 401k. And when it's all said and done, I'll be working for you a whole lot longer. Thanks and all glory be to God. Now, this is entitled Being Black in the Workplace, but I am not on a prejudice kick, so I say this fits to anybody in the workplace because everybody at some point on their job has been marginalized. Marginalized simply means you have been told that you are not as important as you should always be made to feel, because in our world they put big eyes and little U's on everybody, but in Jesus' world, when you're saved, we are all co-heirs to his kingdom, Romans 8:14 through 16, and therefore there are no big eyes and little U's. Co means co, as in co-worker, we all must work together to glorify Christ, and we all love Jesus. And so guess what? The Bible speaks of the body of Christ. Your hand can't move without your foot. And when I say that, if your hand was to leave, could it move? No, because your brain operates your body. So somebody might be the brain of your job, but you might be the hand. Being in the workplace. They take my kindness for weakness. They take my silence for speechless. They consider me my uniqueness strange. They call my language slang. They see my confidence as conceit. They see my mistakes as defeat. They consider my success accidental. They minimize my intelligence to potential. My questions mean I'm unaware. My advancement is somehow unfair. And praise is preferential treatment. To voice concern is discontentment. If I stand up for myself, I'm too defensive. If I don't trust them, I'm too apprehensive. I'm defiant if I separate. We're supposed to separate ourselves from the world as Christians anyways. Yet I'm fake if I assimilate. So constantly I am faced with workplace hate. My character is constantly under attack. Pride for my race makes me too black. Yeah, I can't be me. And who am I? You might ask. I'm that strong black or whatever color you are person who stands on the backs of my ancestors, achievements with an erect spine, pointing to the stars with pride, dignity and respect, which lets the workplace in America know that I not only possess the ability to play by the rules, but I can make them as well. Be all you can be and what you want to be. And that's American History 365. The paper says Black history, but that's American history. Because America is full of inventors and ingenuity, which means creativeness, and new people doing new things. God has given us the power to be all that we can be. Take it, people, take it. P.S. Pass this on to any coworker you have. Be good, but then be better, then be best. And never ever rest, because the status quo is when you stay the same, you'll never be the same, so you got to change. That was my little ad. Until your good is better and your better is best. This has an anonymous author, and it wasn't by me, but I'm going to add my little 2 cents, you see. Because with Christ in your life, there's nothing you can't achieve. You'll be higher and higher, and never will you desire to stop reading and learning. The Bible is yearning, and it will satisfy your life. You just got to open it and grab out, because Jesus died on the cross so that you will not ever be lost. Thank you, YouTube.